Tonight on Here and Now, the record-hitting heat continues across parts of Newfoundland and Labrador.
We were chatting to people today about working in the heat and also with the Chief Medical Officer of Health about what we can do in the heat. I'm Jeremy Eaton, I'm live, and I'll have more details on that coming up.
Thick fog in Placentia Bay today. No worries about a heat wave around here, but the path ahead appears to be clearer than ever for the Port of Argentia with a major funding announcement.
$38 million at the Port of Argentia to help expand their marine terminal and improve the movement of cargo.
That story coming up.
It's 2023. Everything technology. Technology's there, it's available, it's ready.
A communication breakdown with Bell Alliant. This man says customer service can't help him because he's hard of hearing.
This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. It's our hottest story. High temperatures and heat warnings across the island and into parts of Labrador today. This summer has turned into a scorcher, and those rising temps can be concerning for some. That's something our Jeremy Eaton has been looking into. Jeremy is standing by in Kitty Vitty tonight. So Jeremy, how have people been coping with the heat?
Well, the people that we talked to down here at Kitty Vitty and the Wharf, they're like either underneath on the deck there at Kitty Vitty Brewery, underneath the patio. They a little bit of a covering there. There's people under umbrellas there behind us at the wharf. A lot of events, not a lot of events, but some outside events were canceled today. I know the City of St. John's had to cancel a party in the park that they have. Other groups and camps sort of kept the kids inside today. It was extremely hot and people were doing their best to deal with it, but we wanted to learn what we should look out for in these hot temperatures that not many of us are used to here in the City of St. John's. So we stopped by the Confederation building and chatted with the Chief Medical Officer of Health, Janice Fitzgerald, and here's a snippet of our conversation from earlier today.
We would recommend, obviously, that people are not out in the heat during those peak temperatures. You know, if you're going to be doing anything outside, certainly to stay away from those really high temperature times. So between 11 and 4, especially. We'd certainly recommend that you not have any physical exertion during those times. Consider exercising earlier in the day, later in the day. Try to keep your environment as cool as you can. So close your blinds during the day to keep the sun out. If you've got fans, circulate those. If you've got air conditioning, certainly you can operate those when you're in your home. And just make sure you're drinking lots of water. If you've been out in those really for prolonged periods of time, especially in the heat, if you get dizziness, if you're feeling thirsty, if you're feeling overheated, your temperature may be up a little bit, those sorts of things can be associated with heat-related illness. So as well, GI, stomach upset, nausea, headache, those sorts of things could mean that you're getting too much heat and that you need to go find some cool areas to be so that you can bring your temperature down and you can reduce that risk. For me, I worry about those people who may be more vulnerable, especially people who are older, may be living alone, may not have someone to check in on them. Those are the people that we worry about. People who are experiencing homelessness, for example, or who may not have a cool place to go to be able to bring their temperature down. Those are things that worry me, and certainly we encourage people to check in on their neighbors, check in on their friends and family, just to make sure that everybody's doing okay in these temperatures.
And as Dr. Fitzgerald said, she was worried about people who don't have a place to go, or if they do have a place to go, they might not have a cool area to go. And that's where a place like the Gathering Place steps up. And they were busy today. They were open today. And we spoke to their assistant executive director about what they were doing for a more vulnerable part of our population. And here's what she had to say.
It creates a lot of challenges for the guests that come to the Gathering Place. For those who are homeless, of course, they're spending a lot of time outside in this heat. And for those who are housed, many of them don't have air conditioning or, fans, so their home has been very hot. So they are spending more time here. Fortunately, we have an air-conditioned building, so we provide a cooling space where people can come in and get out of the heat for a period of time. We also provide water to any individual. As you see today, there's a lot of people in our courtyard, so we want to make sure people are hydrated. So we'll provide them with water or Gatorade or whatever. So we'll provide sunscreen, hats, lightweight clothing, whatever's going to help to make them more comfortable in this heat.
Now, I'm used to standing out here live on the news in usually cold weather, like with the wind pelting in the face in spite of snowstorms. This is one of the first times I can remember standing out here in the heat. And I have to admit, Heather, that I run hot on the best of days, so I'm sweating through my clothes as we speak here now. So I'm wondering, Heather, as are other people in this province, how long will this hot weather last?
$1 million question, isn't it? Lots of people want to know. And as you can see from the map that's behind me here, the heat warning is still in effect. But according to our friends at Environment Canada, it is going to end tonight for central and the northeast, and into tomorrow for the east. So there could be a little bit of reprieve coming your way because we're going to get some showers headed our way. But currently in St. John's, it is 27 degrees, feeling like 36 with the Humidex right now. Winds gusting to 44 degrees. Talking about the weather that is on the way. Some showers tonight to help cool things off a little bit, but we could see a thunder shower as well, especially for central and east. Could get 10 to 15, maybe 25 to 30 millimeters of rain in some of the heaviest shower. The heat wave does continue for some parts of the island, and tomorrow still warm temperatures. And then Friday we will see some showers here on the island as well. Taking a look at our future tracker now, so you can see these showers pushing towards the southwest coast of the island. They're going to go across the northern peninsula and into the overnight. We'll see them move into central. But we will have more about that and your forecast for tomorrow coming up in a little bit.
Thanks, Heather. Well, it was also a sweltering day on the soccer pitch in Corner Brook. The 30-degree day felt more like 38 with the humidity, but that didn't stop the regular Wednesday morning practice at the Wellington complex. Two soccer players gave CBC's Colleen Connor some advice on how they stay cool.
Well, warmer than usual, but it started raining, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Really sweaty.
Who's smarter? Who's faster?
Lots of water breaks and a pretty low-key practice, not a really intense one. So
easier drills.
Yeah, easier drills.
So the coaches take it easy on you?
Yeah. We do games like tic-tac-toe and stuff like that. Wear cooler and flowier clothes, so you can get more air. We drink lots of water and we bring lots of extra ice, so we make sure our water is extra cold.
Yeah.
And so if we fill it up at the fountain too, we have ice, so the water's really cold.
While hot summer days are usually prime for construction, companies need to take precautions in extreme heat and humidity. Troy Turner caught up with some workers in Gander to see how they're handling the heat wave.
Whether it's a big job or small, summer is a time for construction, and a lot of that work is outdoors. To combat the extreme heat, workers are taking precautions.
There was lots of bugs and flies earlier the year before that warm weather, but now it's keeping hydrated is the biggest thing.
Shannon Ledrew has been around construction most of his life, and he's worked in some hot places around the country.
A lot of times I always look at where the sun rises and falls, so in the morning times we'll try to stay in the shade and trying to chase it throughout the day, but a lot of times that's not possible. We'll take lots of micro breaks, we'll go in the shade and eat our lunches, and probably start the truck up and stay in some AC to cool down a bit.
When the weather was rainy and cold, they got behind, and even though the heat can slow them down, with more breaks, they'll take this over the rain.
I'm keeping on track pretty good. I was behind probably 2 or 3 weeks earlier, but I'm catching up now, which is great. Lots of stuff ahead and lots of stuff planned.
Safety is a big thing for sure with this, and if you want to stay long in construction, you need to look after yourself for sure, right?
Being inland, away from the water, is adding to the heat, says Justin Temple.
I'm not from here, but it seems like down here, weather-wise, is a lot hotter than where I'm from in Hertz's there. So we get so many hot days. Seems like it's just probably extra 5 or so degrees hotter down here.
While the workers acknowledge there's no easy way to predict how the rest of the summer will go, they are hoping for more bright blue skies. However, they won't be sad if the temperature drops 5 or 10 degrees. Troy Turner, CBC News, Gander.
Well, in other news, a man who is hard of hearing says he tried to communicate with Bell Alliant to solve an internet and TV problem. He says he was unable to communicate independently with the provider and is urging the company to improve its accessibility services. Here Now's Jessica Singer has that story.
Escalated in the management.
Living alone gave Adam King Duke a sense of newfound confidence. He was independent for a few years, but then he had trouble with his TV and internet services. He tried to talk to Bell Alliant. That's when his trouble started. King Duke says Bell Alliant doesn't offer a live chat option in the 4 Atlantic provinces for those wanting to receive technical support for internet or Fibe TV. He says Bell customer service kept redirecting him to a phone call, but he's hard of hearing. A phone is not an option.
But it's 2023. Everything technology. Technology's there, it's available, it's ready. Why not take advantage of it and use it?
After CBC contacted Bell, the company says it has been in touch with King Duke. In a statement, the company said, "We have brought his concern forward and will take them to Bell's Accessibility Program Steering Committee so we can look to enhance our services available to customers with disabilities in Atlantic Canada requiring technical support." Miles Murphy is the executive director of the Newfoundland and Labrador Association of the Deaf. He says Bell can learn from King Duke's story. He spoke through a sign language interpreter.
Really, the lack of service from Bell, his access just wasn't what it should have been, and that is a concern for us, very much so. Deaf people always want to communicate, and the live chat feature would be something that would be perfect for us.
King Duke's back and forth with Bell Alliant went on for weeks. Without internet, living on his own became a challenge. Demoralized, he questioned his ability to navigate the world alone, so he moved back in with his mom.
Right now, I feel like it took away my freedom. It took away my independence with them. I just couldn't believe it that I have to suffer through this and have to live with my mom. It's awkward to have to know you live with the parent and can't live on your own and not have to worry about, you have to rely on someone to support you.
King Duke says he's pleased Bell Alliance finally paid attention, but that it shouldn't have taken this long. He isn't sure when he'll move out again. When he does, he hopes the company has learned how to communicate with the deaf community. Jessica Singer, CBC News, St. John's.
There's a new owner for an idled fish plant on the Northern Peninsula. The Berry Group has scooped up the plant in Port au Choix with plans to reopen, which is good news for workers who are worried about their future. Layla Baudouin explains.
Oh, Jesus. Frustrating, I got it. We don't know what you're doing. Just waiting.
Longtime plant worker Clay Galton is one of 100 who's been out of work. The rubber boots stand clean and empty, with nothing being processed at the former Ocean Choice plant in Port au Choix. But today, Galton is hoping to get his boots back on and get back to work.
Boot time.
You're anxious to get back to work?
Yes. Because you phoned me last week and you asked whether I'm going back. And I said, yes, just waiting on opening up.
With the discovery of the area's rich shrimp fishing grounds, the plant was booming for decades. Formerly owned by Fishery Products, this is where those loads were turned into money. In 2007, OCI bought the operation, but in recent years, it's been in trouble. A decline in shrimp quotas and catch rates meant a fishery apocalypse felt all along this coast.
It's here and on the coast, see? The Forest Point crew works there, the Cass River crew works there. So not only here, there's the Port Sanders crew.
This plant is the backbone of the economy of Port au Choix and the whole Northern Peninsula, an hour north and an hour south.
Jeannie Bellard's bed and breakfast sits across the street from the idle plant.
People come here to work. Without this plant not in operation, it means the economy is gone.
Like most people, she welcomes the news that West Coast-based Barry Group has purchased the plant. The company says work is already underway to get the plant's doors open.
When it was in good working order, I say millions of dollars come out of this plant.
But Donald Spence, a fish harvester and mayor of Port au Choix, says things are different now. As the future of Gulf shrimp remains uncertain, the former shrimp fishing town is hoping its new owner will pivot.
You've got to be multi-species. You've got to have your hands in everything, because if you don't, you can't make it just on one species now. Because there's a limited quotas now, and there's small quotas, and you know, fishermen got to be diverse and basically fish whatever species available to them.
That will give life back to the communities on the Northern Peninsula. Cod, turbot, halibut, redfish, flounder. We can process this fish here at this plant if it was a multi-purpose plant.
A diversification that's simple mathematics for plant workers like Clay Galton.
Well, they're better than working for 14 weeks. If you get all year, you're twice as good.
When the plant doors open, workers will be busy cooking and peeling shrimp. But CEO Bill Barry says the plant will go multi-species in the future. For these communities, more fish means more work, longer hours, and holding on to a job that's tied directly to the ups and downs of the fishery. Leila Baudouin, CBC News.
Well, the momentum just keeps on building for the Port of Argentia. A decade-long plan to expand the port received a big injection of cash today. Here now's Terry Roberts reports.
The federal transport minister was taking no chances when it came to his safety, decked from head to toe in protective gear as he boarded a massive dockside crane at the Port of Argentia, an imposing symbol of the port's increasing role in the transportation, energy, and construction sectors, and the vision to turn this historic port into a valuable and key player in the country's transportation system. That strategy took a leap forward today when the transport minister announced a $38 million federal grant to the Port of Argentia.
This work is critical because it will allow the port to accommodate more trade volume, handling, and storage, which will improve operations and increase economic growth in the region.
The port is planning a $100 million expansion, including an additional 460 meters of berthing space in Cooper Cove, increasing dockside space by up to 100,000 square meters. And the free money from Ottawa is just the boost needed to get things moving.
This funding will be revolutionary for the Port of Argentia and all the companies and individuals who depend on us.
The geotech work has been done. The environmental approval process is getting started, and this shoreline could look much different very soon.
So we hope to be ready and buckets in the ground working in the next year and a half for sure, absolutely.
It's the latest boost for Argentia. This deep water, ice-free port opened as a U.S. naval base 82 years ago. Now there are signs that its glory days are far from over. It's catching the attention of the renewable energy sector, including plans to develop a massive wind-to-hydrogen project on port land. A massive concrete base for the West White Rose oil project is under construction, and no less than 40 businesses are now based here.
From the port's perspective, it seems like everything is coming together, right? The perfect storm.
But the federal money is less than half the total cost of the port expansion. So where is the remaining $60 million coming from?
Yeah, so we've got obviously projects that are looking to utilize the port. Port infrastructure is going to be a requirement, so we have got partners that are going to pick up the shortfall.
There was a notable absence of provincial politicians here today, but the port CEO says stay tuned on that front.
But that absolutely is a critical element to this project, and provincial partnership is required.
Argentia was buried today under a dense layer of fog, but if the people who run the port have their way, they're hoping for clear sailing for decades to come. Terry Roberts, CBC News, Argentia.
As you can see in Terry's report, the heat wave totally skipped Argentia today. But in Petty Harbor, extreme heat means extreme ice cream. At least if you're at Tinker's Ice Cream Shop. Here now's Aoife Alaba, headed there to get her hands on something called a freak shake.
Oh, it's so hot. What are we gonna do about it?
I know. Let's go get our freak on. So tell me, what is a freak shake?
So a freak shake is one of our most popular items. It's a huge milkshake with cookies, cake, ice cream, whipped cream, toppings, everything on top of it.
You had me at whipped cream. Let's go make one.
For sure. First things first, milkshake.
Now that we have the milkshake, what happens next?
We're gonna put marshmallow on it. Never know how much to take. And then we add graham cracker crumbs. Why don't you try adding the drizzle?
Okay. Ooh. Okay. Like this?
Yeah. Add a spoon so that the cookie doesn't fall out of the cup.
Women in STEM.
The cheesecake.
Yum.
And now a mountain of whipped cream.
My favorite part. Tell me when.
Good.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to dig in.
No problem. Pro tip, make sure you drink it so the toppings fall into the cup.
Smart, smart. Back to the heat. The real test is, can I drink this all before it melts? Yum.
Well, doesn't that look delicious? And with Humidex factors like this, you certainly will need it. We'll take a look at just how hot it got and where and how long it's gonna last after the break.
Well, I know we're all talking about how hot it is outside, but truly, like, if someone out there feels like it's hotter than usual, it really is, right?
Because it is, absolutely, Carolyn. And according to our friends at Environment Canada, they were telling me earlier today that it is the third day in Gander that it has been above 30 degrees, which is, you know, a long stretch of time, and it's tied for the longest stretch of time. But yesterday when we saw the mercury hit that 40 feels like temperature with the humidex, well, that was the longest stretch. It's felt like 40 because it's only hit 40 with the humidex 3 times before in Gander, and yesterday was the longest amount of time with 4 hours, just for a couple of hours before and 1 hour previously, but that was the longest amount of time. And we have some new temperature records to tell you about as well. Let's take a look at those. Bonavista yesterday, 28.9, beating the record set in 2017 of 27.8. Gander, 31.6, beating its record from 1949 by a whole degree. Lassie beating its previous record by more than a degree, beating it by more than a degree as well in Terra Nova at 31.8, Twillingate 31.7, just a touch cooler there, beating your old record from 2017, Winterland down on the Bonavista or Burin Peninsula, 27.8, beating that record again by more than a degree. Cartwright yesterday, the hot spot in Canada, beating its record by a bunch of degrees there, by 3.4 degrees. Its previous record was 30 in 1973. Hopedale smashing a record there too, and same with Mary's Harbour. So quite a hot across the province of record-breaking heat. Here you have it. Now, taking a look at our highs today, they are, pushing 30 for St. John's, Bonavista, and at 30 into parts of central Newfoundland. Cooler, though, along the south and southwest coast, 17, 18 degrees, in your mid to upper 20s for the west coast, into 30 for southern Labrador, where you guys were also under a heat warning, and really just 20 and above across much of Labrador. Factoring in that humidex, very warm, feeling like 37 in Gander and 38 in Deer Lake right now. And earlier today in Deer Lake, we did hit that 40, feels like, again, according to Environment Canada. Taking a look now at our 24-hour temperature change, not much change for the island today, but in Labrador today, it is much cooler by 11 degrees in Happy Valley, Goose Bay, 5 to 7 degrees in coastal Labrador and 5 in Lab West. So cooler there, and it looks like we should see a little bit of reprieve tomorrow from some of the heat, as some of the heat warnings may come to an end. But where it's so hot, so dry, fire hazard map looking extreme to very high in parts of the province. So do be very careful around fire. It is like tinder in some parts of the province. All right, taking a look at our future tracker now, we're seeing those showers from the southwest coast. They're going to push up along the west coast, the northern peninsula, and the Bayvert Peninsula into the overnight, and we're going to see those push across the north coast of the island. Some clearing here for Labrador, but we will see some more showers going into tomorrow. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but first tonight. St. John's, 20 cloudy tonight for us here on this end of the province. Winds southwest 20 to 40. As we round down to the Burin Peninsula in Marystown, it'll be a touch cooler, but we will pick up some showers, 2 to 4, 2 to 5 millimeters, 10 in the heaviest areas of showers, more as we head further west and south for the south and southwest coast, 10 to 15 for you folks, more in heaviest showers, and showers as well for the west coast, Corner Brook as well. Fewer showers as we saw there for the northern peninsula, about 2 to 4, and we could see for the western half of the province here, we could see a thunder shower, so there is a risk of that overnight. So if you hear any loud claps tonight, that is what it is. Some showers for coastal Labrador, picking up a few millimeters there, and as much as 5 for Happy Valley, Goose Bay, and into Lab City, where you could also see a thunder shower there as well. Heading on into tomorrow, we'll see some clearing in Labrador, but some more showers here along the south coast. You can see some heavy showers there as well. They'll pass on up into central Newfoundland as well. As we head into Friday, taking a look at tomorrow now, temperatures still high humidex values here in the east, 37 in St. John's, 35 in Bonavista, picking up some showers into Marystown, into central Newfoundland now. So we're seeing our temperatures 26, 28 into central, possible thunder shower there, feeling like 30 3 there with your humidex value tomorrow, some 5 millimeters for Conagra Peninsula. As we head west, again, the temperatures with your humidex values there in the red is dropping off just a little bit, cooler along the southwest coast. Still temperatures in the 20s. As we head to the northern peninsula, picking up a few showers there, feeling like 27 for St. Anthony. With your humidex tomorrow, as much as 35 for southern Labrador. Still will be under that heat warning there for you folks, because that meets the criteria. And for Cartwright, still warm. But as we head into central Labrador, temperatures in the low to mid 20s. Could pick up some showers there on the coast, but a decent day for the rest of Labrador. We'll have your long range a little later in the show.
To quote St. Louis legendary lyricist Nelly, it is getting hot in here. But that doesn't mean that people didn't have to work. Coming up after the break, we're going to talk to some people who had to work through this heat.
Well, it's another scorcher out there today, and all of this heat is causing some safety concerns. This week, a hiker had to be airlifted off the East Coast Trail because of a heat-related injury. So to talk more about this is Paul French, the president of Rover Search and Rescue. So you were part of that rescue of the hiker. Can you tell us what happened?
Hi, Carolyn. Yes, on Monday about 4 p.m. we received a call from the RCMP initially. The call came from of a garment inReach activation of an injured hiker on the East Coast Trail. So we sent a helicopter rescue team and some support crews to a staging area nearby, extracted the individual and brought him out to Eastern Out paramedics who were waiting in the staging area. The temperatures Monday were much like today, not as hot, I guess, but when that sun comes out later on in the day, when we're getting all that full force of the heat, when you're hiking on the trail on a good day, it's an exertion of energy for every aspect. However, when you're going on the trail for a number of days and you're hiking in all your gear, you can be as compact as you like, but you got to carry all that stuff in. You're carrying extra water now because of the because it's so hot, and then also you could be carrying water purification systems, but places where you thought you might get water out of streams and whatnot, they're drying up now because of the extreme heat. A message that we have is perhaps we always focus on the Adventure Smart 3 T's, like trip planning, training, taking the essentials. But as much as you can prepare for any outdoor activity, sometimes it might be better to stay home, take another trail, wait for another day.
And so these folks, they were prepared for this. They were from out of province, but they had everything pretty much that they needed to safely go on this hike. So what was the issue?
Yeah, and absolutely, they were 100% prepared. And as I just referenced, sometimes you can be as prepared as you like. The nice thing is when you are prepared, it expedites the rescue process, right? So the individuals had the alerting device. Again, we're on the East Coast Trail. There was no cell service where they were to, but they did have a satellite communication device. They were able to contact help, who got in touch with us, who we were able to go in and extract the individuals.
So it was basically like a heat exhaustion situation. A lot of resources, though, have to go into that kind of rescue.
Yeah, it does indeed. Fortunately for this particular rescue, we were able to send a helicopter rescue team, which really expedites the process and actually saves a lot of work on our volunteers. So we were fortunate enough that we have the systems in place now. We're able to use them, get the individual out as quickly as possible and get them to help.
When should people call for help? Like, what are the signs that people should look for if they're out for a hike and they're starting to feel like that heat exhaustion come on? At what point should they decide to call for help?
That's a really good question that we get an awful lot of, and I can't give you a definitive answer other than if you're questioning yourself, perhaps it's time to make that call. If you leave a trip plan with somebody, or you're the emergency contact for an individual, and say, well, I haven't heard from so and so. They were supposed to be back at 4 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock. Maybe I'll wait till 6 o'clock. Don't wait. If you wait, darkness is going to come on. It's going to complicate things, and that's another hour that individual was waiting for help. Basically, if you yourself, as the individual, is having that issue, or if you're a party of an individual who are out on the trail and maybe we should reconsider this. Err on the side of caution. Right. If you're questioning yourself on that, perhaps maybe make a call. And you know what? Sometimes we can talk people through the process as well, right? It doesn't mean that we gotta send help for you or whatnot. Obviously, we always will. But sometimes that's embarrassing to people. There is no charge for rescue. These individuals aren't going to get a bill at the end of the day. Absolutely, we don't want to be promoting false alarms. However, we can get in contact with people who can, perhaps talk you through the situation and make a judgment call as well, right?
All right, Paul French, some good advice in there for hikers for sure. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much, Carolyn.
We're hanging out here at the wharf down at Kitty Vitty, and it is a scorcher. I have to work, but I'm not the only one. A lot of other people had to go to work earlier today, and we went out and tried to chat to some people about what it was like to be working in the heat like this. Take a look.
Tell me a little bit about this lemonade stand.
Yeah, we've been doing it for a couple years. We usually just did it every regatta today, but now we're doing it on just random really hot days.
What do you like about selling lemonade to people?
Well, for me, it's just like if someone's like walking down the street or biking up, it's just like free lemonade. They don't even need to have cash on them. It's just refreshing. Yeah, it's like he said, it's very nice out in the warm, and we can't really do it when it's really windy because everything will blow away.
All right, and what's your tip for people who are trying to beat this heat wave?
Honestly, stay refreshed.
Yeah. And if you're going to sell lemonade, do it for tips, because who knows, you could get 25 cents, you could get $20.
What is it like paving asphalt in the heat when there's like a heat warning going on?
It's better hot than cold. Paving right now is a lot better than November when it gets cold and wet every day. It's a lot easier to work with right now, so we'll take what we can get.
It's glimmering, it looks so hot. How hot is the stuff that you're putting down right now?
It's about 140 degrees when we lay it, so it's, it adds a lot of extra heat to the normal temperature here as well.
And tips on how to stay cool?
Drink lots of water, wear a rag around your head if you got to, try to block the sun.
My name's Dylan Tucker. I work at Johnny and May's at the Kitty Video location. A lot of the times we try to beat the heat by just trying to stay on the truck. As hot as it is on here, it's hotter out there in the sun. If there's a bit of a breeze, it's nice to stand under the umbrella. Today we're actually told that we can go into the little freezer back there and just sit down for 5 minutes, so that's going to be a lovely treat pretty soon. Every time I check my phone, it tells me it's 24 degrees. But I know what 24 degrees feels like, and that would be a godsend right now.
So as you can see, Johnny and May's isn't the only food truck down here at the wharf. There are 3 others, as well as the ice cream shop that you can almost see there. But they've actually sold out of water. Now, normally this place would be bopping with people and filled with people trying to enjoy a cold beverage on a warm night. But it's not as busy as it was because the sun has been out and it's been a scorcher. Now, as you can see here behind us, there's the Johnny's and May's truck, and you wouldn't want to be inside of one of them on a warm day like this. But what a lot of people have been doing who are down here, normally this would be filled with mountain bikers who take advantage of the White Hills here behind us to try to ride on the trails. But as Dr. Janice Fitzgerald was saying earlier today, you don't want to do too much physical exertion out here today in the heat because that won't be good for you. But what a lot of people have been doing that we've noticed, Curtis and I, since we've been here today, is taking advantage of some cold beverages here behind us. Now, hopefully, as Heather will tell you later on in the show, the weather may or may not, this hot weather may or may not continue, but it's probably going to continue. But in the meantime, everyone is reminded to just drink as much water as you can, try to find a cool place if you can. And I know personally that I have to, because in order for me to get by and not get burned, I have my daughter's 60 SPF sunscreen that videographer Curtis and I are wearing right now because I do burn pretty easily. So we're going to try to get out of the sun here today now, take a little break, drink some water, and get into a cool place. And I hope that many of you watching this will do the same as well. Reporting live for Here and Now, I'm Jeremy Eaton in St. John's.
Move back, here we go.
Well, she's not winning any medals, but she's a champ. After the break, our Amanda Gear tries more sports, and we add up the medal count so far for Team NL. All week, we've been bringing you stories from the North American Indigenous Games through the eyes of our colleague Amanda Gear. She's stepping up to the plate to try out many sports for the first time. Tonight, she finds out if she's good or bad at badminton.
I've served a lot of meals before, but never a birdie on a badminton court. I'm here at the North American Indigenous Games, and Team Newfoundland and Labrador is going to show me how it's done.
Okay, here it comes. Okay, now, except that's good. That was good. Except I want it to come to me, not behind me. Gentle movement towards me. Good. So gentle means not hard. Move back. Here we go.
So, Brooklyn, I just had a lesson from your coach, and he was a little tough on me. You think you could give me some advice on the game?
Of course.
Okay, so how long have you been playing badminton?
Probably since I'm grade 6, so like 4 or 5 years.
Now let's see if I can do this.
And you want to hold it like this.
Oh, I was holding it from the top, the birdie part. Is that the right way?
Okay. Have you got it back here?
Okay.
Swing.
Oh.
You want to drop it just in front of you.
So, Brooklyn, what do you get out of playing badminton? How does that make you feel when you're playing sports?
It's pretty exciting. Get to have cool opportunities like this.
Absolutely.
And it's also fun to be with all my friends, especially.
Definitely. Why do you think? Oh, I did it. Oh. Kind of. Why do you think NAIG is so important, like an event like this?
It's important because we get to show all our cultures and get to meet new people.
I hear that you got some big stuff coming up soon, right after the North American Indigenous Games. Tell me about that.
I'm going to Germany for the Wildorf Games.
And what are you playing there?
I'm playing volleyball, badminton, soccer, table tennis, track and field, and soccer.
Oh my goodness, you're gonna be so tired when you get back. You're gonna sleep for like a week straight. What advice would you give to people, especially the youth, that might want to join a sport or try something new? What advice do you have for them to just get out there and try it? How do you think they should do that?
I say they just go for it. Don't be afraid what other people think.
Good. Okay, here it comes high.
I say they just go for it. Don't be afraid what other people think.
Oh, words to live by. Don't care what other people think. Well, so how are the Newfoundlanders and Labradorians stacking up at the North American Indigenous Games? Our track and field athletes took home 5 medals yesterday, so let's have a look. Here's Ashley Adams. She's a member of Nunatuavut. Ashley scored silver in the under-16 female 800-meter race, and she's not alone. Tristan Bullen is Mi'kmaq. Tristan won silver in the under-16 male 800-meter race. And here's Chinoa Gabriel. She's a member of the Halibu First Nation. She's taking home bronze after participating in the under-19 female discus competition. And this is Jack Sharp. Jack is Mi'kmaq. He'll be bringing home a bronze medal for his performance in the under-14 male 80-meter race. And last but not least, Jewel Boland. Jewel is also Mi'kmaq. She took home the bronze yesterday as part of the under-19 100-meter race. So congratulations to all of our local athletes. The World Health Organization says it's developing what it calls a heat health action plan. It's to help countries deal with the consequences of extreme temperatures.
Many countries in the Northern Hemisphere are now experiencing extreme heat, driven by the El Nino weather pattern and climate change.
The World Meteorological Organization says the heat wave in the northern hemisphere is set to intensify this week. Italy alone has put 23 cities on red alert. Temperatures in Rome are breaking records, bringing warnings about an increased risk of deaths and heart attacks. And it's happening during what's supposed to be peak tourist season. All right, time for a look at the long-range forecast. And Jeremy was asking this question earlier about how long this is all going to last. It just seemed like there's like a little bit of relief coming in terms of precipitation.
Yeah, the shower should cool it off for some people where we get those. But where it does cool off a little bit, it's not going to like drop back to 15 degrees or anything, but it'll be a touch cooler in some places. Okay. But yeah, let's take a look at how things are going to go. So Thursday evening into Friday, it looks like we will get some of those showers showers. You can see them moving across much of central and southern parts of the island, some moving into western Labrador there. And as we take a little bit of closer look at what Friday is going to look like, we see the temperatures still really in the mid to upper 20s for many parts of the island. 26 here in the East Coast in Gander, 27 in Grand Falls, Windsor, and 22 in Marystown. And again, similar to what you've been experiencing down on the southwest coast with temperatures in the upper teens there at 18 for Friday. But if you're heading into the Straits into Labrador and Cartwright, still a beautiful day. 28 there for Cartwright again, and we could pick up some showers as we head through Labrador City Wabush area and into Nain. But it looks like we will be basically cloudy with a chance for many parts of the island as well. As we take a look at Saturday now, as we move from Friday in the overnight, you see more showers working their way up the south coast and the southwest coast of Newfoundland and then across the northern peninsula there as well. So we'll have a decent day here on the east end of things. 26 degrees, mix of sun and cloud here for St. John's. Chance of showers as we head in through central, but we'll pick up those showers for the south and west coasts. 18 again on the southwest coast and in the low 20s for the west coast, and cooling off into the Straits and Cartwright finally for you by Saturday, it seems, with our temperatures dropping back to the high teens here for the rest of Labrador with showers or a chance of them for you folks. As we take a look at our 5-day now, so Thursday, tomorrow, 28 degrees here in the east, bringing in some showers on Friday, 60% chance, dropping back by just 2 degrees though, so it'll still be pretty warm. Still warm temperatures for the remainder of the week with possible showers on Monday. For central, it looks like we'll pick up a chance of showers and thunder showers for you folks tomorrow. Showers Friday, Saturday, Sunday, happy weekend, and the sun on Monday. Look at that, and beautiful 28 degrees again. For western Newfoundland, it looks like you've got a chance and some risk of thunder showers tomorrow. And for you folks, looking like pretty similar for you there. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, showers or a chance of them. And again, Monday, 25 degrees and sun. Of course, that's what always happens after the weekend, isn't it? On to Labrador now. For eastern Labrador, Thursday, Friday, looking great. Picking up possible showers. Temperatures dropping back through the weekend there. Again, beautiful Monday. Thursday for western Labrador, 23 degrees. Looking like a nice day tomorrow. Chance of showers on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You could pick up some showers there on Monday as well. And I want to get to this. Hello.
Oh my.
Is anybody in there? Do you have any air conditioning in Gander Lake where this little bear is?
Or any porridge?
Yeah, a bear B&B.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, great shot, Sheila.
Isn't it nice?
Hope you were in a very safe spot.
Yeah,
to take
hopefully
that
you were far away. Use a long lens to get a shot of Mr. Bear.
And Heather, you know, before we know it, the regatta's going to be here. It's going to be regatta day, and I know that you're preparing for it. What's it like for you now, like in all of this heat, trying to get ready for the regatta?
I'll tell you after tonight, because I'm going to go out later tonight. Yesterday it was pretty warm on the pond, but we were out really early in the morning. So like that advice from Dr. Fitzgerald, if you have to exercise or exert yourself outside, you know, early in the morning, later in the evening, probably the best time to do it. But it is hot, it is warm, it is sticky.
Just imagine. My goodness. All right. Well, that's it for us this evening. Thank you so much for spending part of your night with us.
Good night.